Hello everybody, Helcrex here, and welcome to another Mercenary Thoughts from the Inner Sphere, episode 320. Alright, today we're going to be talking about the 45-ton mech, the Grendel, which is a really good, heavy-hitting little bugger. I like it. We use it quite a bit in a lot of our games. The Grendel, 45 tons. It's a 7-11-7. Very mobile. Has endo steel. Has a clan fusion engine, XL style. And has 10 double heat sinks to go with that. And then we have 7.5 tons of ferrofibrous armor, which is 144 points, which is basically, I think, about 8 or 9 points short, which if you added another half ton of pod space that direction, instead of having pod space, it would have had maxed out armor. But speaking of pod space, we have 13.5. All right, so if it had 13, it could have maxed everything out, but that's okay. Half a ton isn't quite going to make too big of a difference, but it would have been nice. But 13 tons is nothing to sneeze at in a medium mech like this that is highly mobile. And that's why it's suddenly finding itself in a lot of games, especially since the plastic model came out. The capability of it to just get around is highly mobile, get in behind and flanking maneuvering, yeah, and it provides all that firepower with those 13.5 tons. It makes a big difference in a game, especially if you're fighting off against inner sphere mechs. Now, the primary configuration of the Grendel, since it's an Omni-mech, has a ER large laser and a ER small laser in the right arm. We have an ER medium laser in the head, 2 ER medium lasers in the left arm. We have a Streak 6 in the right torso with a ton of ammunition. And then we have 2 extra double heat sinks. Alright, so that takes care of a bit of the heat. Even though really it doesn't necessarily have to be too hot, because, well, with your 2 ER medium lasers, actually the 3 ER medium lasers and the Streak, yeah, that's supposed to kicks you up to around 20, and then if you jump, yeah, you can heat up a bit. But it's one of those things where a lot of times with the primary configuration, it's like you're fighting around with the ER large, and then eventually you're going to throw in maybe a couple of those ER mediums and do some damage, and when you get in closer, then you start trying to add the Streak. Now the Streak, well, I found a lot of times is what the one factor that determines how much heat you're going to be creating, because if it doesn't lock on, hey, no heat. So there is that. So it does a good job, especially if you're trying to be highly mobile. And in my case, every time I'm trying to use the Grendel, it's like, okay, I going to be jumping 7, so I subtract that from the potential dissipation of heat that you're going to have. Then I look at what I can fire, and so you're looking at around 17, which is your large laser and in your medium laser. Okay, so there's that. But and then when you get in even closer, then I just toss out that ER large. Then you throw in a couple extra ER mediums and the Streak. So the Streak is the one that kind of starts dictating how much heat you're going to be creating. And I always look at that. There's the ER small laser. That's just like an afterthought. So yeah. But the Grendel, with its capability of the jump jets, just is able to get in and hit the flanks really hard. It becomes a big nuisance because they're not going to ignore it. And they see this highly mobile mech, and it's like all the games we've ever played is that suddenly you get this mobile mech moving around. It's like, oh, we better detach a mech or two to take care of it, or kind of block it and keep it from doing as much damage as it potentially can. Because if you got some fire support mechs and you see a Grendel coming, it's like, All right, the bodyguard, release the bodyguard type of thing. You know, it's like you got to put it in between it and your other guys to make your bodyguard a little more of a nuisance and hopefully knock some armor off that thing. Because with 144 points of armor, that is pretty significant when it comes to a lot of games, especially when it comes to fighting with inner sphere. It's going to take them a while to hit and knock some armor off it and start getting into the juicy parts. So, yeah. All right. The configuration A. This one has a medium pulse laser in the right arm, ER small in the right arm. And then we have two LRM-15s. We got one in the left torso, one in the right torso, with 2 tons of ammunition in each torso. So this basically is your fire support mech. So you got the 2 LRM-15s sitting out there. They can do the indirect, you can do the direct, point blank range, and yeah, so yeah, it's not a bad deal with the that version, and we've seen it on the battlefield a few times. It done a pretty good job. And you got the medium pulse laser is kind of like an afterthought, and the ER small is just a placeholder because you got a half a ton. What are you gonna do with a half a ton? You usually use you're gonna throw on an ER small just to fill the gap. That's why when I keep thinking about it, is that in some ways you've been better off throwing that half ton into the armor and then just have an even number that you can play with. So, but yeah, that's the configuration A. It is a pretty decent one for just lobbing missiles at somebody and causing problems. All right, the configuration B. All right, this one can be an interesting one. All right, so configuration B, this one uses an Ultra 5, AC5 Ultra, has an ER medium laser and a pair of medium pulse lasers and an ER small, which again, you got that placeholder. Oh, I forgot to mention the battle value of this thing. The primary configuration is about 2,300. The A configuration is about a little over 2,000, or 2,000, I mean. And B configuration is 1,900. You're dropping battle value when you got that Ultra on there. Doesn't do much damage, so it's not as big a threat. No. Personally, instead of an AC5 Ultra on board, I would rather just give me a pulse laser, or something of that nature. But typically, you're going to find me, it's like you had choice between a B config and the primary. I usually just take the prime. Grendel prime. And then we got the configuration C. This is kind of falling into the Crit Hunter, kind of a follow-up. We've used it. Not a very big fan of it per se, because it has an LBX 10. Okay, that's why I call it the Crit Hunter, because typically you can, if you hit with it, you're gonna get about 6 hits with the little shotgun effect. Then so you're gonna be rolling it on the crit table. It's like, oh yeah, that mech over there has been hit a few times and it's got some open spots, and so I'm gonna hit it with shotgun effect, and it does work. And considering it as what your choice is, this is the big problem with it. It has 1 ton of ammunition. So if you want to use it as a Crit Hunter, yeah, you're stuck 100% in the, it's like, oh, I got one type of ammo. What are you going to choose? So you typically are going to go with the cluster. All right, so then it also has an ER medium laser, so it backs up the range with the LBX. And then you had an anti-missile system. So basically, it's can sort of be used for annoying the heck out of battle armor. You're not going to kill much battle armor with it, but you're going to annoy them by plinking damage into them. But it comes in about 14.5 battle value. So not overly expensive. It could be a placeholder, oh, I got to have something to fill in the gap, that might be the way to go. So, not very popular though. Now, this is a popular kind of one that we've seen in a lot of our battles, is the configuration D. All right, this one has an ERPPC. Obviously, that speaks for itself. An ERPPC is an excellent clan. ERPPC is almost a go-to next to the clan large pulse laser, because you're going to be pumping holes into people. You hit with that thing, it's like, oh, scrape off 15. They know it, and when you're coming, yeah, it attracts attention. And then it also has a medium pulse laser and an ER medium laser and an SRM6 and a small pulse laser. All right, and this comes in about a little over 2,200 battle value. The amount of firepower that this one brings to the game is similar to what you're going to be finding on the Prime configuration. And if I'm not taking a Prime, I'm taking a D typically, because I just like that whole concept of that ERPPC. And then you got something that is 7.11, 7, it's highly mobile, and you can run in towards the backside. And if they're not going to block you, then you got something that has an ERPPC that starts hitting in the flanks. So you're funneling the damage into a certain arc, and then eventually you might even get into the rear. And let me tell you, there's not many mechs that can handle an ERPPC from the clans in the rear arc. That's going to make them go, ooh, I better start taking care of this thing. So if you want something that is going to attract a lot of attention and force your opponent to start attaching stuff, go with that one. That attracts attention a lot. All right. Then we got configuration E. All right, this one, okay, it's got a pair of ATM6s, a medium pulse laser, an ER small laser, 1,800 battle value, and let's see, I think this one, I'm not sure exactly if I remember. I think it's got 2 tons of ammunition to go with those. So I can't remember off the top of my head. Maybe I can look it up real quick here. Is it E? Yeah, there is an E here. Oh, yeah, it's got plenty of ammo. Yeah, you're looking at 2 for each launcher. Yeah, it's plenty. So, yeah, you can go with whatever configuration you want to go with that route. Yeah. So, yeah, you can pretty much determine, whatever, however you want to go. Obviously, you can short and long range is the primary ones. All right, configuration F. All right, this one carries an ATM6 in the right torso and 2 plasma cannons in the right arm, and it carries 2 tons of ammunition for it. So this comes in at about 2,000 battle value. Obviously, you probably got the 2 tons of ammunition with the ATM, and then you're going to have 2 tons of ammo for your plasma cannons. So it does attract attention. So it's one of those mechs that you can go way around the flanks and then park yourself at good distance and just start hammering home and become a nuisance. And then if they get closer, then you just start throwing in get the plasma cannons going, and you got the short range stuff. So yeah, that will do some damage. Now, configuration G. All right, this is the scout version. All right, this one has a pair of medium pulse lasers and micro pulse lasers, and it has a single medium pulse laser and a micro pulse laser in each torso, and it's rounded out by a micro pulse laser in the head, and it's got a supercharger for increased speed, and it has it has watchdog. Gosh, that's this one. This comes in at 2,200 battle value. It's got the Watchdog system, which is Composite Electronic Warfare System. There we go. Let me say that. Which has an active probe and ECM kind of smashed together type of thing. It's a late stage. I think it came out way down the line. Okay, it was first researched in 3057. So it's actually pretty decent, so that you're able to, you're the eyes and ears type thing. So if you had a scenario where you got a bunch of hidden targets out there or blips that you have to get, you know, eyes on, that would probably do the good job of filling in the gap. So that's the G version. And it's got a bunch of short range stuff. So obviously if you're finding hidden stuff, you want to be able to a lot of pulse lasers because you're going to be flying along pretty good trying to find things. And with the pulse lasers, you're going to be able to hit at least. So there you go. And then we got configuration H. All right. This one has a heavy laser, and it also has a streak for 2 ER medium lasers, a single ER small that placeholder again, and 4 extra heat sinks. Because if you got a heavy laser, you're pumping out some heat with that thing, so you want, you know, some extra heat sinks to dissipate that. But, you know, the only problem is with it, yeah, you're getting the good damage when you do hit with the heavies, you know, heavy lasers of any type. But you got a heavy large laser, yeah, they're going to know it when you hit with that thing. But, you know, personally, I'd rather have a PPC, you know, go that route. So, you know, that's just my thought process with it. But, you know, you got a streak, so you got punch some holes in. You got the medium medium lasers and ER small, so you put holes in somebody, and then that streak is going to be sort of your crit hunter. And this comes in around 19.5 battle value. So, yeah, it's not a go-to one for me at all. All right, then we got configuration I. Hey, it's an Omni mech. We got all kinds of configuration. All right, this one carries both Intersphere and Omni equipment for clans. It has a prototype AC4. Okay, that's new. You're talking down the line. Double check and see what the year that came out. Yeah, 3073 when it first started researching on it. Okay, so it's a little bit down the line. And plasma rifle in the right torso, a single ton of ammunition. So, yeah, the life expectancy is not all that great. So, for engagement time, and then you have a single ER medium laser. And this comes in, it's a cheaper version. It comes about 1,700 battle value. But, yeah, it's like when the Diamond, I think it was Clan Diamond Shark. Double check, I think it is. Yes. They said, hey, we're just going to sell stuff. So when they started selling stuff to everybody, you know, it's like, got to make some money. It's like capitalism. Awesome. All right. So that's what they started doing. And then we got configuration J. This is the streak boat, as they call it. This was mounted in SRM6 streak in the right arm and each side torso. So with 2 tons of ammunition. So you got 3 streak 6s. Kind of like harkens back to we used to run a Vulture that had, I think, 5 or 6 streak 6s on it. Yeah, let me tell you, hit with all those, they know it. It's like you just crit them to death. But yeah, with 3 streak 6s, yeah, you're gonna be happy with that. And then you have a small pulse laser and an improved heavy laser, small laser in the left arm. So got a small pulse laser in the head and then a heavy small laser in the left arm. This comes in at about 1,800 battle value. So if you have something that's punching holes through everybody, and then you follow up with this thing, they will not like you. Just put it that way. But hey, it's the lulls of it. Okay, then we got configuration M. This one comes in at 17.5 battle value. Not a great one. I prefer. It's got a rack too. All right, so you can, it's like taking a machine gun and giving it some decent range. That's the benefit of it. So if you're facing off against VTOLs or anything of that nature, or vehicles of any nature, really, something like this is useful. All right, not as much against mechs, but if you're facing off against a large number of vehicles, a rack 2 system can do the job. All right. But it only carries a single ton of ammunition, so you're going to be burned through it pretty quickly. Then it has a left torso ER large laser to back up the rack system. All right, so not a lot of firepower with it. But like I said, if you're facing off against vehicles, because vehicles, a 2-point shot can kill a vehicle with one shot. So if you get a lucky shot someplace and you hit a critical roll and then blow it up, that's the one thing, you know, you have advantage with shooting against vehicles. And that's where that Rack 2 system comes in handy. Okay, configuration T, the last one. All right, this one is mounting a large pulse laser. It has an improved heavy small laser in its right arm, and its right torso has a rack or SRM-6 head-mounted ER small laser. It also has an improved heavy medium laser in the left arm and a single ton of SRM load, so single ton of ammo for the SRM, and a extra double heat sink for the extra heat. And it comes in at a little over 1900 battle value. All right. I kind of use the T version. Let me see if I can find it. That's in my system here. Yeah, it's like a very similar version that we tend to use a lot. This one has a large pulse laser and a 3 ER medium lasers and an SRM-6 standard. And that's kind of like how we roll with that one. The pulse laser, it gives you an opportunity to, you know, if you're doing kind of an anti-scouting role, that large pulse laser against most light mechs is a heavy-hitting weapon system. And it gives you capability to... Oh, I forgot. It has a targeting computer on this one. So we designed this one as totally a anti-scout mech type, hunter-killer type thing, where with a combination of the large pulse laser and a target computer, you're knocking off 3 mod right there. And if you have a fairly decent pilot in it, this thing will, like, hey, bring your light mech over there. Oh, you got a spider? Oh, not for long. We're going to punch holes through it. Got a locust? Ah, not for long. That's kind of how it works. And then you got the ER medium lasers. You got a prefl of them. So even a light mech getting hit with 3 ER medium lasers, then follow up with a streak, or not a streak 6, but a standard 6. That's 19 heat. And if you're not jumping, if you're just hauling out there 10, 11, yeah, you're going to go up 1. It's when that jumping aspect kicks in. That's when you start pumping some heat out. But yeah, whatever how you want to go out. So you could consider dropping one of the ER medium lasers and give yourself another heat sink just to help dissipate some heat there. But that's kind of like one of the ones we like to roll with. It's very popular in our group. Everybody seems to like it, especially they don't like it sometimes when they're trying to get their scout coming around the corner. It's like, well, hello, Mr. Scout, we're going to have fun with you. And they turn around and go like, oh, no, not going there. So, yeah, that's kind of like how we roll. All right, so that's the Grendel. It is a plus positive mech to throw into any clan style game. And if you can find one on the market where the clan Diamond Shark is selling it to the inner sphere, hey, you can go that route too. It's possible. Anything's possible in an animated cartoon. All right, so that's it. Hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe, share with friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Elcrex out.